Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And welcome back to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I'm going to be going through the new Fantastic Four #1, the beginning of a new series by Ryan North. And I'll start by telling you, I was not a fan of Dan Slott's Fantastic Four. That may or may not have gotten me blocked by him on Twitter, but hey. So when Marvel booted him off the book after the Reckoning War, I was pretty excited to see who would be taking over. And when Marvel announced it would be Ryan North, I didn't really have that much of a reaction at all. I mean, he wrote Squirrel Girl. He's Canadian. He wrote Squirrel Girl. And it seemed like an odd choice. But I guess it was a safe one because it kind of was greeted with a collective shrug. The first issue came out a couple weeks ago. I'm here to tell you if I liked it or not. Though after reading it over and over again, like I was in a Groundhog Day, I may need to take some supplements, and I'm using air quotes here to get properly fired up for this book. But before we continue, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you thought of this Fantastic Four #1 issue in the comments below. So let's get into this Fantastic Four #1, written by Ryan North with art by Iban Coello. And while the book looks good, the Groundhog Day story going on here isn't quite that big bang that I was expecting or hoping this new run would have. However, that isn't the biggest problem here. The biggest problem is that for the start of the Fantastic Four, right? It's Fantastic Four #1. I think Fantastic Four on the cover. I don't think I'm wrong there. It's a Thing in Alicia's story with no Johnny, Sue, or Reed to be found. And while that could be nice, the timing, it's way, way off. It's like starting a mixtape with a ballad. And everyone knows you never, ever start a mixtape with a ballad. That's such a no-no. You wouldn't even start a ballad mixtape with a ballad. It doesn't make sense. And it's beyond me what Ryan North or anyone else involved here was thinking. This story itself, though, it's not bad. It's nice enough. It could have been a nice cool-down issue after an action-packed first arc, or even part of an annual down the line. But as the start of a new run, a new series, it's an epic fail, especially following a Dan Slott run that never got people excited for the Fantastic Four. And I say people, I mean myself, because I'm selfish and I didn't get into it. I wanted to be excited. I want to be excited for this one. So what is the story about? Well, Ben and Alicia find themselves in a town that is Groundhog Daying it up, living out July 12th, 1947 over and over and over again. And don't expect a mind-bending reason for the date. Don't expect a mind-bending reason for any of this happening. It's just the day a guy named Sanford had his heart broken by his best gal, Millie, and just can't get past it. Of course, there is a twist that he seems to unknowingly use his unknown time-repeating powers to go through this Groundhog Day rinse and repeat cycle. I mean, if I had a nickel every time that happened to me, and really, if it was me, it would be Groundhog's decade. A lot of heartbreak in old Jimmy Boy's past. I'll tell you, that one tear is going down my cheek right now. I wish you could see it. The thing, though, is that nobody knows this is actually happening. So this quaint little town, it's stuck in 1947, which, I don't know, it could be cool, right? I mean, one of the big songs that year was Peg, Oh My Heart by the Harmonicats, which sounds way sexier in 2022 than it probably did in 1947. And seriously, everyone, the Harmonicats. I mean, yeah, Harmonicats. But not everything is rainbows and lollipops. If you are a history buff like myself, you probably know the darker side of 1947, and it does rear its ugly head here. And what I mean is a lot of the townspeople, they're straight up racist against rock people. Little tidbit for you there. Now, there's no real solid explanation of why and how any of this is happening. Maybe the local nuclear testing site has given Sanford his powers. Maybe the cosmic radiation coursing through Ben's blood allowed him and Alicia to enter this displaced time town. It really doesn't make much sense, and you really shouldn't think much about it, but it lets Ryan North tell his surface-level Twilight Zone-like story about a guy with a broken heart who just wants to make things right. Except, like I said, he doesn't know any of this is happening. So he wakes up on the same day, does the same thing, and gets the same heartbreak over and over. It's just like Sisyphus pushing that big rock up the hill, only for it to roll down again. And I think I just figured out why this town hates rock people. So Ben and Alicia to the rescue. Like Bill Murray, they use the repeated day to fit in a bit more. Doesn't really make much sense in this situation. Give Sanford the romantic advice he needs. It takes a while, but they finally give him the advice he needs. And it's pretty much get over that bitch and move on. Now, I am joking here, and I want to stop a second to say that the heartfelt advice that Alicia actually does give Sanford, it kind of got to me, especially the part where it all tied into cockfighting, which is legitimately what happened in this issue. But he does get over that bitch, and he does move on, and so does the town. Sanford eventually finds his soulmate, and we see a nice progression of their lives together from their first date to Sanford's death. Probably the not-so-great side effect of that nuclear testing that gave him his powers. Now, one of the things is he says that he'll never use that power again. The end might actually be a bit, ambiguous, but it's kind of a downer at the end. It is sad. So I'll have to tell you, I got a little bit of feels by then. But then we finally do get some Fantastic Four stuff at the very end. We find out that Reed has done something awful to New York City. We see a big giant crater and find out everybody hates the Fantastic Four. Now, this has happened in the Hulk, Donny Cates' Hulk. We have it in Zeb Wells' Amazing Spider-Man. And now this. It's always something happened in the past. We don't really know what yet, but man, everybody hates everyone. I don't know what's going on. Why? Did these Marvel writers get together and think that this is something cool? Are they messing with us? Are they punking us? Is Ashton Kutcher involved? I don't know. But overall, Iban Coello's art is good. And this issue is fine. It's just so out of place as the first issue of a brand new Fantastic Four series. So it's kind of a weird book to rate. If you end up reading this as a one-shot years from now, you'll probably think, man, this is pretty good. It's a little heartfelt story. It might not make a lot of sense. And why did they hate rock people? But, all that stuff, it'd be okay. But as the number one issue of a new Fantastic Four series, I said before, epic fail. But even then, I'm still going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. I could be convinced to go to a 6. If I kind of calm down, I will. I'm going to calm down here. And take a breath. I just took a breath. 6 out of 10. And I hope that the next issue gives us a little more of Marvel's first family. That's what we need. The first issue coming out, I believe, this week as I record this. So thanks, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, subscribe to the channel, check out the show notes. We have a bunch of websites and podcasts and all that stuff. And then click on all these things that pop up while the video's going on, right? Do it all, I say. But thanks, everybody. And I will talk to you later.
Go read comics.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science
is the revolution.
Weird science
is the revolution.
Weird science
is the revolution.